Couple slides back. Okay, as in previous years, Linemark is logging our field day QSOs using a Windows-based logging program written by Scott Davis, N3FJP. This is a Windows-only program. It's you can get it for Windows XP through Windows 11. There is a charge for the software. However, if you want to just practice with it, you can download it from www.n3fjp.com, and you will download it. The only limitation on the copy that you download is until you register it, it'll only log 30 contacts. But if you want to play with it, you can certainly do that. Also, the 2 phone stations and the 2 CW stations will be attached to a field day network, so you can go to any one of those stations and see contact and status of everything we're doing. Okay, there is no internet access to this network, so we can't browse the internet on it.
Let me know when you're ready for the next slide.
Okay, all of the, I will tell you when. All of the updates, loop checking, etc., are done as soon as the information is entered into the log. Also, even if there's no activity on your station, it will automatically be updated from the contacts that are entered on the other station. Next slide. Okay, there are a few field day changes for 2024. The software has been updated to take care of the changes. Basically, the change to the public location of our site. Basically, not only do you have to be in a public location, you have to actively welcome the public to go to the station. There's no power bonus, and there's a 50-point bonus for class B, C, D, E, and F stations. You can't hear me?
Now Steve can't hear you.
Steve can't hear me. Are you listening to your computer, or are you listening in the room?
The system sucks.
Okay, next slide. Okay, as the program starts up, or actually to start the program, there'll be an icon on the desktop that will say N3FJP Field Day Program. Double click on it. It will start. In most cases, the program will be running. When the program starts, or there's an operator change, you need to enter your call and initials. There are bonus points for operators under the age of 18. So anybody that's operating that's under the age of 18, where it says initial, put the word youth, so we can recognize those contacts. Once you enter the information, just click done. Okay, next, okay, if you must leave a station and there's no relief for you, press Control S and just blank out that information. Okay, basically, you will hear this from me many, many times. The abandon mode in the software must agree with the abandon mode on the radio. Otherwise, our loop checking goes out the window. Okay. Well, okay. You can use either the mouse or the keyboard to go up to the top.
Hey, Ken, question.
Yes.
Abandoned mode, have to agree. What are the acceptable mode settings?
There are 3 modes on field day: phone, CW, and digital.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And basically, there will be drop downs to go to the. On the next slide. Next slide. There we go. There are drop downs up along the top. So you can enter the, either the band or the mode, as you can see, from mode, it's CW, phone, digital. The bands, you only see 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10 meter HF bands, because the so-called work bands of 30 meters, 10 megahertz, 17 meters, 18 megahertz, and 12 meters, 24 megahertz, are not used for contesting, so they don't appear. Those are not valid choices. On change of operator, the new operator, again, check the band agreement. I'll show you where that is. Also, when the program starts up, for example, if the generator stops, computers will, well, hopefully run on batteries, but just in case, go check again. Okay, next slide. Okay, there are 7 areas on this screen. Top left is the contacts list that will show the details of all the contacts we have made any station on the network, which will basically be both phone and both CW stations, or the 2 digital stations are on a separate network. You can, if you, go that way. There's an area for the source summary, which is the upper right-hand corner in purple. Basically, QSL count for each mode, and scores, and again, that'll be for the stations on the network. There's a little rectangle with blue for QSO entry, and basically, when you work a station, you enter the information there, and I'll show you more about it on a later slide. There's an area under that called messages, and that's basically any warnings about missing or invalid data. There is a section summary kind of to the right, highlighted in red. There are no bonus points or multipliers for working sections, but sometimes it's just interesting. Also, if you're entering a contact and it tells you the section name is invalid, check in that area. They are sorted by the call district. So basically, all sections in New York and New Jersey are under the 2nd call district. All sections in California will be under the 6th. Sections we have worked on any band are listed in blue. I'll show you that later. Sections we have not worked on any band will be in red. Again, that's just for your information. There's no bonus, no multiplier. There's an area marked duplicate contact check. We're trying to avoid duplicate contacts, and it will warn you if there are. At the bottom, there is a status area, that line in yellowish at the bottom. It's got the current bands and mode. Compare that to the radio. Also, if you're curious what the field day exchange is, you will see our call, you will see our class and our section. Okay, next slide. Okay, entering the QSO. Entering the QSO. Basically, you can enter the call, section, the call, then a tab or a space, the class, which is 1 or 2 numbers and a letter, and the section. If we work the station on a different band, as you get out of the call field, it'll populate the section and class with the information from the other QSO, although you can change it. The class will be a 1 or 2 digit number followed by a letter. We will be 6A, meaning we've got 6 transmitters. We are class A, 100% emergency power. The section will be 2 or 3 letters from the list that I showed you before. Next slide. Okay, as you enter a call, any partial matches will be displayed. And what we're trying to do is avoid duplicate contacts, because in the scoring part of field day and the contest part of field day, they're not worth any points. A contact is a duplicate only if you've worked the same call letter on the same band and mode. If you work a station on 40-meter phone, working that station again on 40-meter CW or 40-meter digital is not a duplicate. Okay, next slide.
Ken, a question?
Yes.
What if you enter a call and it pops up saying duplicate, but the other side of the conversation insists that they haven't worked us? According to the note on that slide, it won't let you enter it. What do you do then?
Well, the only way you can do it is enter the call with perhaps a slightly different letter. Click on that in the area that lists it, and then go and you can edit it and change the call so it'll be the same call. Yeah, the 2 contacts will not, it will not count both contacts.
Can you put like a slash and a number in there or something?
You can, but
Would that fool it?
that would, I believe that would fool it.
Or even a star or something, an asterisk?
I'm not sure what's accepting the asterisks, but I can play with it. I've run the computer on the program on my computer. Okay, next slide. Okay, one of the most common questions on field day is, where can I operate? The program will show you. If you press Control-I, or if you something along the top, which I forget what it is, but I think it's band limits. Basically, it will show you on each band. We are operating with extra class privileges because our control operator is an extra. So click on, up at the top, there are different license classes. Just click on extra, and it will show you the blue parts of the band are CW and green parts are phone and CW. Okay, next slide. Okay, status area down at the bottom of the screen. Basically, it shows you the band and the mode. I don't know why they spell mode, M-O-D. That's not a mistake on the slide, that's what the software tells you. Again, you want to know what the exchange is. Our call is there, W2VL. Our class is 6A. Our section is NLI.
Ken,
Yes,
maybe it's not mode, it's modulation.
no, it's mode.
Okay.
And the right side of the status area is the time. All contacts are logged in UTC. You enter the local time, and it will log it in UTC. On the right side, it will show you the local time on the top and UTC on the bottom. The difference this time of year is 4 hours.
When you change bands, doesn't the computer automatically change? You have it set?
Only if the computer is tied to the radio. At this point, it is the 2 digital stations and the 2 CW stations, the phone stations, the radio and the computers are not tied together.
No cat control.
Okay, okay, next slide. Section summary. If the software rejects your, you typed in class and section and it rejects the section, Here's where you look up what the section abbreviations are, arranged again by call district. So, second call district would be New York City, Long Island, Northern New York, etc. Again, there are no extra points for working sections, but sometimes it's interesting. Next slide.
Question, Ken.
Yes.
Today, there's many call signs that are not necessarily assigned in their normal section.
Absolutely. You need to listen to what the exchange is. You can't assume anything just because of the number in the call.
Right.
You shouldn't assume that anyway, they might be working portable.
Yes.
As an example, in our club, we have NY2H, Lou in Port Jeff, and we have NY3H as well, who's in Huntington. So-
Yes, but we'll be using W2VL for most of the stations and WV2LI for the GOTA station.
Okay.
Okay, every once in a while, you're gonna make a mistake. And what you can do is just click on any of the, click on the contact you want to correct, and you will get two choices, to delete the contact or edit it. If you choose edit, you get that box on the bottom, make the changes you need to make, and click on done. If you decide you don't want to change the contact, you can just click on cancel. Also, if you just get the top two boxes and you said, no, I didn't really need to do that, just hit the escape key. Next slide. Okay, CW stuff. If you're used to using N1MM for contesting, I have made the function keys similar. So basically, F1 is the CQ, F2 is the report, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to just send CW from the keyboard, press F12, type in what you want to send. When you're done, press F12 again. The up arrow will increase the sending speed by 1 word a minute, and the down arrow will decrease the sending speed by 1 word a minute. Next slide.
John, is there a screenshot to tell you how fast it is going?
The only way you can tell how fast it's going is to press the up arrow or the down arrow. It will display a little screen of what it's changed to. So if you're sending at 25 words a minute, hit the up arrow, it'll then display 26. You can just hit the down arrow and you know you're still at 25. Okay, are there any questions? If not, if you would like to get a copy of the presentation, I've got it on my computer here. Or you can send me an email at wb2kwc@linemark.org.
Ken, question, WS2N on Zoom? Yeah, Ken, question. Are you gonna have like an index card to operate the computer? In other words, F1, for send, or that list that you just had. Otherwise,
Yeah, other than that, the program will show you what it's programmed to send. I can tell you it's Control-Shift-W. That probably won't make any sense to you. But if you'll talk to me, or I can send you the slide deck that will show you what the keys are.
No, that's okay.
Just
It
send me an
gets
email.
confusing. You sit there and do I hit, this one or that one to, to end the QSO, or to have a quick reference. I think would be good. Anyway, thanks, Ken.
Well, yeah, I know, I use N1MM a lot, so these things are kind of just second nature.
Understood. That's true.
Yes.
For the GOTA station, we have a different version of the program, which I'm gonna ask you to help configure.
Okay,
It's already running over there. But I want to tell everyone that the GOTA station is going to be available to everybody. And to be eligible to work on the GOTA station, the restriction is you have to have been inactive for a period of time or new. And what's this scoring on the GOTA station?
every contact, no matter what band or mode, is worth 5 points.
So,
Inactive also has a limitation that it includes last year's
field day.
field day.
Right.
If you didn't operate last year's field day, that's the cutoff date.
Does
You're
it
inactive.
include if you're operating VHF or does it include only HF?
I'm not, I don't know, I have to pack it up, the field day packet on my computer, we can check, but, I thought it was basically, you had to be inactive on ham radio, but I'm not sure.
So my point is, if you don't feel like sitting down on the 20-meter sideband station because Jeff is driving you crazy, come over and work WV2LI at the GOTA station.
But only if you haven't been on the air for a year.
Right.
Oh, let's go phone two.
Point is, we need operators in all divisions. I also had, we get bonus points for certain types of visitors.
We get bonus points for elected officials, that have been invited, for representative of served agencies that have been invited. And I think there's a third category, but I don't recall.
Well, I was asked today by one of my students if a visit from someone from the US Navy would count.
I do not believe so.
No. No.
Yeah, I think served agencies are things like the Red Cross.
I can offer up a case of notoriety to anyone who shows up.
One?
Would I classify as a served agent?
No, you have to be like Phil or somebody, JT's gonna go out, Phil.
Yeah, I think they're going up to,
Yeah.
Coast Guard base, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken.
Okay, and I am available at this meeting to demonstrate or answer questions.
Steve, can you hear me?
We hear you.
Good. Field day. Field day. Yes. Very good. You can go to the full slide version.
I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but I'm gonna try. No, you know. There it is.
You use the right arrow key and it walks through the slides.
Yeah,
1 second.
but we're seeing all the directions too.
Go up the slide.
Should be under view and slideshow.
Yeah,
I'm Rob Yenis, KC2ILP, and no one else wanted the job, so I got volunteered to help run a field day. And I don't run a field day, I help. Peter is in charge. I just show up with a bullhorn and a whip. And whatever Peter tells me, we all agreed on. We have a huge committee.
And I don't think I've ever seen you run.
No, I don't run. Actually, I don't have a bullhorn.
You don't need
Give you a
one.
traffic cone.
Okay. That's a blurry guy. Who here has been to field day of any sort anywhere?
Share screen.
Well, this is good. This is good. So you're gonna hear the same old stuff. We put a lot of effort into this. Except training the slideshow master.
Hang on a second.
We're building the anticipation.
There you go.
Oh, nice. Let's go to the next slide.
After all that?
Right arrow. You got it. This slide presentation was put together years ago, and every year we change that date to
That's
the
it.
current year.
I have all of them here.
Next. Hello, next. I'm gonna move you through quickly.
Just go beep.
Field day. Everybody in the country tries to talk to everybody in the country,
And nobody talks to anybody.
depending on whether they're running on batteries or electric or a generator. They're different categories, and how many radios they have are different categories. But basically, we take a bunch of stuff down to the field. We spend a day setting it up, we spend a day operating it, and then we spend 2 hours tearing it down and putting it away for next year. Next slide. The emergency preparedness part of ham radio is what field day is in practice of. Getting out there, using a radio, setting up, and being able to contact anyone, anywhere, anytime. Big part of field day. It's a lot of fun, seeing everyone, seeing all the old faces, helping each other, getting it all put together and operating is a lot of fun. Next slide. Getting to see a different part of ham radio. You know, you might be the tinkerer who solders and puts things together, or the guy who just sits in his car and talks to local people. This is all modes, all operations. You can try different things. It's a lot of fun. We try to get as many contacts as possible. Every year they tell us this is not a contest. And we keep track of every call we make. So it's not a contest. But we can't wait to see our score at the end of the story, but it's not a contest. Not a contest.
Context, it's out of context.
Next slide. 1933, this all started, and it was tiny. Next slide. It's become every club now, trying to reach every club. It's not a contest. Next slide.
You have a slide that says that?
One of the fun things is getting someone to try a microphone who doesn't normally like to operate. I've seen mic fright, and I've seen people blossom into the most amazing net control operators. I've seen kids show up and I don't wanna. And then they see us doing it, and next thing you know, we're going like this, and they're on the air. I had one little kid who spoke, and W1AW responded, and he's like, okay, W1AW, this is Whiskey to Victor Lima, thank you. And I looked at him and I told him, you just spoke to national headquarters. And he was like, wow, he was so thrilled. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, next slide. You might have seen things that you don't understand in Ken's presentation. Don't worry about it. Somebody is there to do it for you, with you, show you if you want to try it, that's fine. Don't worry about using a radio that you never, there's somebody there. We are there all 24 hours to help you operate. Next. Who's allowed? Everybody. If you're a ham, you're allowed. If you're a ham who hasn't participated, you go to Lou and you get on the GOTA station. That's including last year's field day, you have to have not operated. Otherwise, you can operate, anyone can operate, because there are licensed hams there controlling the radio. So I've had kids, 7, 8, 10 years old, operating, and it's a lot of fun. You can contact anybody. If they're not participating, you just log it in, the section would be DX. We can show you when you're there if that happens. Next slide. Everybody tries to talk to everybody. Next slide. It takes place always in the last full weekend in June this year. The fourth weekend.
Fourth full weekend.
Fourth full weekend. That's right, that's what I meant. Thank you. It's June 22nd to 23rd. There is a 2 p.m. start and a 2 p.m. stop. You are allowed, if you don't take a lot of time to set up, you are allowed to go a few extra hours. We found that there's nobody else out there to talk to for those 3 hours, so we found the 24 hours works fine for us. And it's a lot of fun. It's like, you know, screaming like New Year's Eve, 10, 9, it's like, okay, shut them down. Next slide. That's not true. We don't start at Saturday at 7 a.m. We normally start at around 6. Some of us show up, but we start on Friday now. And we did lose a few of our very serious volunteers. So if you're even thinking you might want to help out, you don't have to know anything. You just show up, and I can't lift, I just had hernia surgery. Believe me, somebody will lift for me. And whatever you think you can't do, we'll take care of it. You just show up. Let us know if you're interested. Sequence Neck Park is our new site. We used to be in
Rosemary Kennedy.
Rosemary Kennedy.
yeah, what's home?
East Meadow.
East Meadow. No.
Belmore.
East Meadow.
Belmore.
It's in Wantagh, the old one. So if, who's here been to the old site? That's not where we're going.
That's why it's the
down by
outside.
the water in Wantagh. And there's a rib joint on Merrick Road that you turn south on, and then follow the signs. Follow Google and you'll get lost. You'll end up at a closed gate, but follow the signs when you're driving there.
There's a fork in the road, make sure you
There's
go
a
left.
fork in the road that says, take the left fork, even though Google says go right. So, by the way, this new site, who's been to the old one? We were there by ourselves with nobody knowing we were there. And we were perfectly anonymous, nobody bothered us. This new site has runners, joggers, kids, grandmas, walkers, and geese.
With big poops.
And baseball players.
And baseball players, big games going on. What are you doing? What is this? Can I ask you something? What are you doing? And I gotta tell you, I was so proud of every operator who took the time to stop operating for a minute and say, we're ham radio operators, this is our big event, we're trying to talk to everybody. And they're like, what is ham? That thing still, my grandfather would, I've heard of that, that's still. And we patiently answered and got people have a seat, exactly. And it was amazing. We became ambassadors, and this is a great site, and we're invited back again this year. So we don't want to mess it up. Next slide. Yeah, that's an attempt to show you. We're down by the water. Incredible site, right on the water. South Shore of Nassau County. Next site, next
site?
Yeah, next site. Yeah, where are we going next year? Okay. If you were there last year, you might remember it's a huge field, Goose Poop Field, I think they call it. And we put stations all around the perimeter last year, and it was a heck of a walk from one to the next. We're not doing that. That top path there with the 5 tents in a row is our attempt at making it much more concise. The antennas are all over the field, spread as much as we could do. We put a lot of work into that. But the site has a lot of improvements from last year. We were winging it last year, and this year, the entire committee put a lot of work and had me rewrite that map up a bunch of times. Next slide. How many radios your club is operating? 6 in our case. And how you're operating. We operate on generators. We do not connect to mains power. So that's a category A. So we operate as a 6A. You will talk to other stations, there'll be a 1B, a 2C, a 3F, one station I think is 21A, something crazy like that.
I think there's a 23A.
23A? Yeah, and they always win their category.
So the only one
They only make three contacts all weekend, but they win. That's
Not a
important.
Not a contest.
It's not a
It's not a
contest.
This part is very important because what you're doing is talking to another station and telling them who you are, next one. Who you are, we're Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. We are operating 6 Alpha, 6 radios under generated power. And where are we? November Lima, India. New York, Long Island. Some people say Northern Long Island, some people say everything under the sun. The answer is yes, that's us. We are gonna have a 7th station. Lou Malchik is gonna be running a GOTA station for people who need to get on the air, not hams, and hams who haven't operated in the last year.
And I would love to have more help.
Everyone wants to have more help, please, somebody show up.
We can't give them that type of help though.
Next slide.
You're absolutely right, because we're on the air, we can't help you go to station.
There are some limitations on how far you're allowed to spread out. We stay within it. And we use the call sign Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. And phonetics is important when you're operating. You can't believe how staticky and hard it is for them to hear us. You'll be repeating it, and you'll be repeating it slowly. It's a great way to practice radio. Next slide. These are the, what's that?
What was the mistake,
Call
Steve?
sign, yeah, on the bottom.
WV2LI. That's the GOTA station. Yeah, we operate 2 call signs. The A is 3 or more people under emergency power. That's us. You can be battery, Class A battery. Class B is 1 or 2 people on a bicycle or portable under emergency power. Class B battery is the battery, couple of people, 5-watt maximum, and Class C is a car. Class D, next one. Class D is someone at home. Class E is a home under emergency power, and Class F is an emergency operations center. And they're allowed to be plugged in or under emergency power. Everybody can contact everybody. There used to be some limitations, it's not there anymore. You're allowed to contact everybody. Next slide. Yeah, COVID opened that up. Get on the air. We will guide you through. Just show up. Lou will teach you everything you need to know. Yes,
Is
Harry?
that a typo up there? Open since Field Day 2022, should it be 2023 for this year's?
Will the vertical be vertical?
Yeah, we make mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes on the t-shirt too. I promise.
Well,
Right.
we haven't had someone other than
No.
Richard.
This is the contribution of AI.
Yeah, we will guide you if you qualify for GOTA.
We're gonna
Next,
have a big
next
picture of
slide.
a pig on it, right?
Blue versus Stan.
Next. Thank you. Someone will be there to guide you. There are limitations as to what we can do. And, don't worry, we'll be there to guide you. Right, Lou?
Right.
You got it. Next slide. Yes. You can't get in your car, drive to our site, and in your car, get on HF and call us. It's a rule. It's not a contest. There's some other rules. And there are points, not a contest.
Not another slide.
Another slide. Some points are extra. CW and digital are 2 points. Voice, only 1 point. You can't do crossband. You can point up at a satellite and talk to someone else. If the satellite is crossband, not your problem. You can't use repeaters, and you can't charge your batteries on electric. Okay. Next slide. The dupe you heard about from Ken. When you're talking to a station, they may say to you, "Thanks, old man, that you're a dupe." Go on to the next call. Their software or our software will tell you right away that that mode, that frequency, your call sign already occurred. Don't keep going. If it's a dupe, it's a dupe. You can go to a different frequency and talk to them. You will find the computer says to you.
Different band.
Different band. Thank you. You can go to a different band, and the computer will say to you, "Oh, we know these guys. We know their section, we know their call, and yeah, and we know you're on a different band because, as Ken pointed out, if you change bands, you do it in the computer too. It's very important. Very important. Next slide. Yeah. We are Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. They need to know that. We need to know who they are. We are running a 6 Alpha. They need to know it, and you need to know theirs. We are in November Lima, India, New York, Long Island. They need to know it, we need to know theirs. That exchange is what takes time when you're talking to somebody. You will find some crystal clear. You'll be talking to Arizona and it's just like he's standing next to you. You'll be talking to Chicago and you can't hear a word and he's got other people talking near him and it's terrible. Repeat, repeat. Use phonetics. And just keep trying. And other people will be there guiding you. So don't sweat it. But that's sometimes not easy to do. Some stations it's hard. You like really feel like you earned that contact. Next slide.
Not a contest.
Not a contest.
He said contact.
Very important to get everything right. I like to write it down while somebody's logging for me so that I can see it and repeat it to them. And the logger is looking at what I wrote, listening to what I'm hearing, and accuracy is very important. Next slide.
May I comment on that?
Yes, please.
The two parts to this, we run through the same thing with School Club Roundup, which is not a contest. But people are competitive and they treat it like a contest. But why is it important to get over the exchange accurately? It's important because it's a practice for potential communications in an emergency. And accuracy is the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we do this, because it's incredible practice.
In this non-contest, if somebody logs us that they had to contact, but we didn't for some reason get it right, and now we don't think it's a dupe, they think it's a dupe, will that somehow work its way in where we'll actually get credit?
No.
We'll neither get credit.
No, neither of us will get credit for it, and it happens. We'll submit that we had 2,000 QSOs and 1,997 are approved. That's what the ARL does. They verify one against the other. I don't know if they have like some IBM super brain doing it, or one guy with a pencil, but yeah, you don't get credit. The sections are 2 or 3 letters, and they will confuse the heck out of you when you hear one you haven't heard before. But they're exactly right in front of you on the screen for you to see, and your logger may say, oh, yeah, that was NFL, Northern Florida. Oh, right, NFL, okay, we got you, you're a 7 Bravo, and yeah, okay. Because it's a team, and you'd be surprised, you count on other people helping you. Next slide. Yeah, that's what I just said. Next slide. Very important. You will cringe when you hear other stations saying the silliest things. Please.
Whiskey 2, very loud.
I once had a friend.
Kilowatt.
I once had a friend whose call ended in CUM, and he called himself out as chewed up marshmallows.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm kicked cigarettes to improve lung performance. But that's true. That's true. These will be written on a sheet right there for you to, if you don't get them right, we understand. If you're new to this, we get it. We've been there. This is what you're shooting for. You may not do it, but when you hear another station do it umbrella and, whatever.
Unicorn.
Unicorn, exactly, there are some standard ones that they use, but non-standard.
You'll frequently hear zebra instead of Zulu,
Right, zebra, Zed,
and sugar instead of
Adam,
S.
Boy,
That's
Charles.
right, yeah, America, yeah.
There have been any number of phonetic alphabets used over the last several decades. This is the current standard one.
Yes. Yes,
And the words have been carefully chosen to
For clarity.
minimize the possibility of mistaking them for something else.
Robin?
Are you including different numbers like niner and five?
No, that's very good point. I don't think we do, but pronouncing your numbers is important. 1, 2, 3.
Well, for three, they do three a lot of times.
Yeah, well.
Growing up in Brooklyn, I always said tree, so.
Hey,
A tree for-
what neighborhood?
A tree or.
Yeah, very
But they say three, 4, 5,
5.
6.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I was talking to an operator the other day and she was using phonetics. I'm like, you're a ham radio operator? She's like, no, retired military.
Oh.
I was like, cool. Next slide. Yeah, 2 ways to do this. You stay on one frequency and say, there's Whiskey 2 Victor Lima, CQ, field day, some form thereof, and they answer you. And you get their information, and then at the end you say, Whiskey 2 Victor Lima, and the next station calls you, and the next, and the next, and that is
A pile up.
a pileup. It is thrilling to have a pileup. It's exhausting to have a pileup. If it ever happens to you, you will remember it forever. It's a great thing that happens. And then there's another way. You turn the dial, no one's there. CQ, this is Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. No, that's the first one. The other one is you hear someone in a pileup and you try to jump in, Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. And they're like, yeah, Alpha Bravo 6, 9, yeah, no. Very good. Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. Yeah, no, they didn't hear me. You wait for the next. And you try.
And
That-
an important part of that is learning the timing.
Yes, don't be the first, try to be the last, because that's what they hear last.
But if you are the last and you wait a little too long, they're already answering.
They're already
right
talking.
before you.
You got it. Both are very good ways to do it. I happen to like doing the, running a frequency where I just stay there and, hopefully they pile up on me. Next slide.
If you do a hunt and pounce, listen to his previous contact, you already have the section and the.
Oh, yeah. If you're brand new, you would want to do hunt and pounce because you're listening to him, you got his call sign, you got his section, you got his identifier, and you're typing it in, what your logger is typing it in, and all you need is to say who you are and have him acknowledge that he's got you. And that makes it very easy to log in. Not as easy to make the contact. You can avoid anything to do the next slide. Yeah, we just did this. Next slide. Yes, I will repeat. We are Whiskey 2 Victor Lima. We are a 6 Alpha. We are November Lima, India. That's how you say it. That's what you try to say. If you don't, and you get close, that's good enough if they repeat it back to you. And you want to know their 3 things. So this is always a good way to start because they may have cut off your first syllable. This is Whiskey 2 Victor Lima, and if they identify you, you go with your section and your area. This is good, and thank you always is nice at the end. And it's acknowledging that you've got their information and they got yours. You're waiting for that confirmation. QSL is another version of thank you, I got it. There are several.
And even though it's not a contest, a lot of people say, good luck in the contest.
Good luck in the contest. And, yes, next slide. Bad example. No, I'm not gonna do it.
Next.
We all know what bad operating sounds like. Now, next. Oh, do ask politely for repeats. I've got whiskey something, go ahead. And whiskey 2, okay, whiskey 2. Victor Lima, yes, whiskey 2, okay, thank you. Give me your section, give me your thing. And you keep repeating and go phonetically. And go slowly, whiskey, oh, what's your section, what's your, what alpha? 6, what, 7, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done it, it helps. Next slide. Yep. Next slide. Yeah, scoring. We get 1 point for every voice contact. The others are 2, and lose are 5. And there are a few others to our section manager. If we hear the bulletin from W1AW, there's a few things we get
Send a
points.
radiogram and to certain people.
Radiogram, that's right.
Are we gonna operate 100 watts or 150 watts?
No, 100 watts. Yeah, that's what each of our radios can do. Next, and there are bonus points. We love our bonus points.
It's not a contest.
It's not a contest. If a kid is there, please try to get them to operate. It's amazing. A girl's voice on the radio, they all want to talk to her. I don't know about old men in other towns, but they all want to talk to the young lady. Bonus points, if we talk to the media, if we're out in public, giving out pamphlets, message handling. Next slide. We love our bonus points.
But it's not a contest.
Talking to a satellite, using other power. Next slide.
Are we going to have a table for public relations?
Yes, it's also the GOTA station. Yes, and that's the first thing they're gonna see when they show up, is GOTA, public relations, and then 4 other stations to their right, and the trailer with 2 digital stations to the left, and the food right in between. Yeah, copying the bulletin, giving out, yep. Next slide. Bonus points, 50 points for putting us online, and kids, 20 points per youth. Next slide. GOTA points, 20 points if they can make a QSO. 500 points maximum. That's good stuff. It takes us all day to get 500 voice points. Go to, complete yeah, next slide. All right, we have a go to coach. He'll be there, watching over.
Need more than one,
We
because I'm
need,
not there the whole time.
yeah, yep. Next slide.
Oh, here's a question. If you're a
Yes.
voter coach, does that eliminate you from operating one of the field day stations?
I don't believe so.
No.
No,
No, you just can't operate the notice.
Okay.
yep.
You can qualify it.
Ken takes care of sending in our packet of information. It's huge. It includes a lot of stuff from Martin being there watching the fire extinguishers to us teaching people, being in public. These are all points, and Ken's amazing at it.
And we probably should have someone taking pictures of all of these things happening.
Yes, bring your camera, take pictures and send them. Next slide. Yeah, we do that. Next slide. Yeah, we take care of that for you, don't worry. Next slide. Yeah. You don't have to worry about operating in the general, if you're a tech, or the extra. Our control operators are there. They are licensed for all of these frequencies. You can go into your excluded part of the band. Just don't go out of the band. Don't do that.
No phone in the CW portion.
No phone in CW, yeah. If the answer is beep, 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 and you're talking, you're.
Something wrong there.
Well, no, because they can operate CW in the phone. portion.
Yes.
Are the station trustees, they don't have to physically be there the whole time, right?
The trustee doesn't have to be there, but someone with that class of license does.
Yes, and I'm there the whole time and I'm extra, so if.
We know
it's not
that.
Someone else,
Extra special.
extra special. I get extra sprinkles on my ice cream. Robin?
I'm a little confused as to how the traffic works. Like, they originate a message, where do they send it to?
It's sent to the section manager by
Yeah,
NTS.
there's a host of messages that we do. Somebody, directs us, usually that's Lou,
We take care of that through the digital station. Goes
Yeah.
through
and
that, so.
There is,
Ken does it,
Robin's doing it.
Rob does it.
there are two parts to that. One covering the minimum points. You get a bonus, 10 points for each message, maximum 100 points. And then there's also a message to the section manager, that's a bonus also. But something that I have found very effective over the years is sending a digital message to any of our visitors. And so if they are a legislator or a congressman or somebody who's there, and you send them a message that they can receive on their phone while they're still at the site.
Yeah.
That is impressive to them.
Yeah, if you have the
Special set of
opportunity.
points for that.
And you can do that only through digital.
Yeah, if you have the opportunity and a guest is there and you take them over to the digital station, we do that. We ask them and send them a message and they're like, I remember when Nassau County Commissioner was at an event, not field day, and we were like, he's like, you can do this. And it was
Yeah, I
pretty
was
cool.
wondering how you could do it over voice. I think we've done that before, but
No,
don't we
it's
have it?
it's
No,
done.
not going to the phone.
To send it by voice, it has to be entered into, it would have to be entered into an NTS station, Robin.
We've done it both ways,
But
but
for the last 10 years, it's.
yes, but at least We've been doing it digitally for several years.
Yeah, because I was wondering how would you know.
Right, because you know the NTS system and doing it by voice. Yeah, exactly, but we cheat. And we give it a pen and he types it right in. Next slide. No, cheating is good, lying about it is bad.
Cheating is great,
If you can
creativity.
find an easier way to do it and you can cheat, that's great, just don't lie about it.
It's creative, it's not
Yeah.
cheating.
Yeah, we used to do that with paper and pencil, it's all now Ken's domain of ones and zeros. Next slide. Computers, yes, we use them, next slide.
That was good.
We use N3FJP. I actually logged him as a contact 1 year on field day. It was kind of nice after the fact when someone said, you just logged N3FJP. You should have said thank you or hello or something. I didn't know who he was.
When you work Scott, a message usually pops up.
Yes, yeah, after it's logged.
Yeah.
But I was already on to the next. I was the loser that day. Next slide. Yeah, we've seen that. That's the screen you work with the whole time you're there. You see all your sections on the bottom right. You see whether you're a dupe, that green section turns red and it says duplicate. And you know, oh, old man, you're a dupe. Next. Next slide, please. That's the dupe. Next slide. Yeah. Does anyone feel they need to practice? Next slide. Next slide. Come join us at Field Day. It is a lot of fun. It's my big highlight of the year. And please, we need everybody. We have a shortage this year. My son isn't coming, so he carries a lot of weight.
Is this gonna be one of the last years that we get to use the extension ladders?
Yeah.
For masks?
Yes. It's possible. We've been discussing it, going to all sticks. Yeah, it is possible. Anyone who's interested in being part of this, please join the Field Day Committee, Gwen. And bring
Careful what you wish for.
all of your thoughts, questions, comments, suggestions.
That if they don't want your name in law, I don't think we mentioned that.
Yes, coming down and not operating is fine. You stand there with us and you watch what you're doing. Maybe you want to just write down the sounds you hear for the logger. Maybe you become a logger. There are steps involved when you're there to see what the operator is doing, see what the logger is doing. And maybe one of those times you become a logger. Or an operator, or just help Richie make lunch. We need a lot of people.
And we need a lot of people during the overnight hours.
Operating.
Yes.
Has a minimum of 2 people. A logger and an operator. And that works better than trying to do everything.
What's that? Oh, please. He's an amazing operator. Yeah, we're cultivating a new young ham. Hayden is Charlie's son. He's amazing. Richie, do I hand it over to Ken?
You can do that. Switching back to a regularly scheduled program. Yes, the Aries Trail will be at the Landmark Field Day. It's an excellent opportunity to see our comms trail if you haven't seen it. We'll be operating 2 digital stations out of it, and well, the third one with the packet station there. So, we will have all the bells and whistles there. We're not gonna show you APRS tracking or anything like that this time because, we're not gonna ask each individual operator in different tents next to us to put on their APRS tracking so you can see it on the map, But we'll probably have the weather forecast or something like that, live radar maybe on the display. But, this is an opportunity where we get to show what Aries could do at the Limeox, field day as well. And, we do try to man it close to 24 hours. We may be down from like 3 to 6 on the overnight, but, as much as we can, we do try to operate 2 digital stations, at that event.